shouting.
My son is inside the
Covered the kitchen walls and sprayed fast into the kitchen. In the middle of the fire, a small boy cried for help.
I've got you. Hold on.
Mommy! Neighbors stood outside, afraid to step in. The heat pushed everyone back. No one could move closer. Then a woman broke free from the crowd. That is my son.
My son is inside the burning house.
Before anyone could stop her, she grabbed a thick cloth, wrapped it around her body, and ran straight
I've got
into
you.
the
Hold
burning
on.
house. The fire touched her skin. The smoke entered her eyes, but she did not stop. Inside that fire was her child, and a mother does not want her child. She came out holding him tightly.
My son is inside the burning house. My son,
her face masked forever. Many years ago, in a quiet town in Ekiti State, there lived a newly married woman named Oluwashola. She was beautiful and carried herself with calmness. When she spoke, people listened. When she smiled, it felt warm. She had just married a rich Igbo businessman named Uzo. Uzo was known for his car business. He bought and sold different types of cars. People trusted him because he was honest and smart in his work. He was not rich, he was responsible. After their wedding, he brought her to their new home in Ekiti. It was a large, neat house with a clean compound and flowers by the entrance. Everything inside was well arranged. On their first evening in the house, Oluwashola stood in the living room and looked around. Uzo, she said softly, "This place is beautiful." He smiled and walked towards her. "It is your home now, our home." She looked at him and smiled. "Thank you." From the beginning of their marriage, Uzo made something clear. One night during dinner, he said, "My wife, I do not want you to work." She looked up at him. "Why?" "I wake up every day to work hard. I want you to rest and enjoy your life. I will take care of everything." She was quiet for a moment. "But I can still do something small if I want." He shook his head gently. "If you truly want to work, I will not stop you. But I do not want you to feel pressured. I want you to live in peace." She looked at him carefully. "Are you sure?" "I am sure," he said. "And every month, I will pay you a salary." She laughed in surprise. "Salary? For what?" "For being my wife and taking care of our home." From that month, Uzo started sending money to her account at the end of every month. The first time she received the alert, she ran to him with her phone in her hand. "Uzo, you really sent it?" He smiled from the bed where he was checking his messages. "Of course, that is your monthly salary." "But I do not work outside." He sat up and looked at her. "You wake up before me. You prepare our meals. You keep this home in order. You pray for me. You welcome me home with love. That is work." She sat beside him and smiled. "Thank you for valuing me." Their life together was peaceful. Every evening, when Uzo returned from work, he would call out as he entered the house, "Oluwashola, I am home." She would come out with a bright smile. "Welcome back. How was your day?" "Better now that I have seen you," he would reply. Sometimes they would sit together while he talks about his business. "Today I closed a big deal," he said one night. "That is good news," she replied happily. "I am proud of you." He looked at her. "I do it for us." On Sundays, they went to church together. People admired them. They looked happy because they truly were. At home, Oluwashola did not feel trapped. She enjoyed caring for her home. She enjoyed cooking new meals and decorating the house the way she liked. She had time to rest, to read, and to visit friends when she wanted. One afternoon, while arranging flowers in the sitting room, she smiled to herself. She felt content. She did not feel less than anyone. She knew her husband respected her. That evening in the bedroom, she said to him, "Thank you for taking care of me the way you do." Uzo turns to her. "You deserve it. You are my peace." She held his hand. "I am happy." He looked at her seriously. "If there is ever anything you want to do, tell me. Your happiness matters to me." She nodded. "I know, but right now, I am satisfied." Their love was not loud. It was steady. It was built on respect and care. Oluwashola did not regret staying at home. She saw it as a choice made with love, not pressure. She trusted her husband, and he valued her presence in his life. 4 months later, Oluwashola found that she was pregnant. That morning, she sat quietly on the edge of the bed, holding the test result in her hand. Her heart was beating fast. When Uzo came out of the bathroom, tying his wrapper, he noticed her face. "Oluwashola, what is it? Are you okay?" She looked up at him slowly. "Uzo, we are going to have a baby." For a few seconds, he just stared at her. "What did you say?" She smiled and showed him the result. "I am pregnant." Uzo rushed to her and carried her up from the bed. "Are you serious? My wife," he shouted happily. She laughed. "Put me down. I am pregnant." He gently placed her back on the bed and knelt in front of her. "Thank you," he said softly. "For what?" she asked. "For making me a father." From that day, everything changed in the house. When Uzo went to work, Oluwashola's mother came to stay with her. She did not want her daughter to be alone during the early months. She cooked for her, cleaned, and made sure she rested well. Oluwashola lied down. Her mother would say, "Do not stress yourself." "Mama, I am fine," she would reply. "Fine or not, you are carrying my grandchild. Rest." Pregnancy was not easy for her. Some morning, she felt sick. Sometimes, she spat often and felt uncomfortable. At times, she became emotional for no clear reason. One evening, Uzo came home tired from work. As soon as he sat down, Oluwashola called from the bedroom, "Uzo." He stood up quickly. "Yes, my wife. Come in." He entered the room and saw her sitting with a serious face. "What happened?" he asked. "You did not call me by 12 noon today." He blinked. "I was in a meeting. You forgot about me," she said, turning her face away. Uzo moved closer and sat beside her. "I did not forget you. I was working for us." She looked at him with watering eyes. "You don't understand how I feel." He held her hands. "You are right. I may not fully understand, but I am trying. Tell me what you need." Sometimes she would complain about small things. Sometimes she would cry suddenly. Other times she would ask for food late at night. "Uzo, I want roasted corn," she said one night. At that time, he asked, looking at the clock. "Yes, now." Without arguing, he picked up his car keys. "I am coming." Her mother would shake her head and laugh. "This man loves you too much." Uzo endured the pregnancy spitting, the mood changes, and the nagging. He never insulted her. He never raised his voice. Instead, he would say, "It is just for a few months. We will be fine." As her stomach grew bigger, he became more careful. He helped her walk down the stairs. He held her hands during hospital visits. He listened carefully to the doctor. "Take good care of her," the doctor said. "I will," Uzo replied seriously. The day she went into labor, it was early in the morning. She heard her stomach and called out, "Uzo, something is happening." He rushed out of the bathroom. "Is it time?" "I think so." Her mother quickly packed the hospital bag that had already been prepared. At the hospital, Uzo did not leave her side. He held her hands as she cried in pain. Uzo, I cannot do this, she said weakly. You can, he replied, his voice shaking. You are strong. I am here. After hours that felt like days, the sound of a baby crying filled the room. The nurse came out smiling. Congratulations, it is a boy. Uzo felt his knees go weak. A boy? He asked. Yes, a healthy baby boy. When he finally saw his son wrapped in a small blanket, his eyes filled with tears. Thank you, he whispered to his wife. Oluwashola was tired but smiling. Come and see your son. He moved closer to the bed and looked at the baby carefully. The child has small fingers and a calm face. He is handsome, Uzo said proudly. They looked at each other. Years passed, and little Chinonso, whom they fondly called Nomso, began to grow fast. He was playful, curious, and full of questions. Mommy, why is the sky blue? Mommy, why does Daddy go to work every day? The house in Ekiti State was always filled with his voice and laughter. Uzo loved carrying him on his shoulders. Oluwashola enjoyed watching father and son play in the compound. At 5 years old, Nonso was active and bold. He liked to move around the house and touch everything. One afternoon, Uzo had gone to work as usual. Oluwashola was at home with Nonso. Her mother was also around, helping in the kitchen. The house was calm. The sound of pots moving and soup boiling came from the kitchen. Nonso was in the sitting room, playing with his toys on the floor. Nonso, stay there and play, his grandmother said as she wiped her hands. I am going outside to get something. Yes, Grandma, he replied without looking up. Oluwashola was outside, folding clothes. A few minutes later, Nonso stood up and walked towards the kitchen. He was holding a small rubber toy car in his hand. He looked at the fire under the pot. The flame moved and danced. He moved closer. Let me see, he whispered to himself. Before anyone could know it, he stretched his hand and dropped the rubber toy into the fire. At first, nothing happened. Then the rubber began to melt. A strange smell filled the air. Within seconds, the melted rubber caught fire. The flame grew bigger. It touched a nearby hand towel. The clothes caught fire too. The fire began to spread quickly. Nonso stepped back, afraid. Mommy, he shouted. The flames rose higher, reaching the cabinet and curtains. The kitchen filled with smoke. Oluwashola heard the scream. Nonso, she called as she ran.
My son is inside the burning out.
The heat pushed her back. Jesus, she cried. Mother came running down. What's happened? The kitchen. Oluwashola shouted. Nonso is inside. Smoke poured into the sitting room. The fire spread fast.
Where are you? I've got you. Hold on.
Neighbors began to gather.
I'm coming.
Water. Go for
Where
help.
are you?
But the fire
I've got
was
you. Hold
too
on.
strong. No one could step inside.
I'm coming.
The heat forced
Where are you?
everyone back.
I've got you.
Nonso
Hold
was
on.
crying loudly inside the kitchen.
I'm coming.
Mommy, mommy.
Where are you?
Oluwashola
I've got
tried
you.
to
Hold
run
on.
in, but someone held her.
I'm
You
coming.
cannot go in there.
Where
A
are you?
neighbor shouted.
I've got
You
you.
will
Hold on.
die. She struggled and screamed.
I'm coming.
My son is inside.
Where are you?
The fire grew
I've
wider.
got you. Hold on.
People covered their noses. So
I'm
we are
coming.
crying. So we are
Where are
shouting
you?
instructions.
I've got you. Hold
Nonso's
on.
voice became weaker.
I'm coming.
Body shook.
Where are you?
Tears ran down
I've
her
got you.
face.
Hold on.
No, she said firmly.
I'm coming.
I cannot leave my son.
Where
in
are you?
there. She
I've
looked
got you.
around
Hold on.
quickly. She grabbed the thick cotton
I'm coming.
cloth from the sitting
Where are
room.
you?
Without
I've got you.
thinking
Hold on.
twice,
I'm coming.
She wrapped
Where
part
are
of
you?
it around her
I've
body.
got you. Hold on.
Stop! Her mother cried.
I'm coming.
Shola, don't!
Where are you?
But it was too late.
I've got you. Hold on.
Shola ran straight into the
I'm
burning
coming.
kitchen. The heat
Where are
hit her
you?
skin like a
I've got
slap.
you. Hold on.
Flames touched her arms.
I'm coming.
Smoke filled her lungs.
Where are
but
you?
she kept moving.
I've got you. Hold on.
So she shouted.
I'm
she saw
coming.
him crushed
Where
in
are
a
you?
corner, crying
got
and
you. Hold on.
shaking. Mommy! She rushed
coming.
to him, ignoring the
Where are
pain
you?
burning her skin.
I've got you. Hold on.
She wrapped the thick clothes around his body
I'm
tightly.
coming.
Close your eyes.
Where are you?
She said.
I've got
with
you.
all
Hold
her
on.
strength. She carried him and
I'm
turned
coming.
back towards the door.
Where are you?
The fire burned
I've got
her
you.
back.
Hold on.
Her feet felt like it was on fire.
I'm coming.
But she did not stop.
Where are you?
Outside,
I've got you. Hold on.
rushed in fear. Suddenly,
I'm coming.
through the smoke, they saw
Where are
her.
you?
She's
I've got you.
coming
Hold
out.
on.
Oluwashola stepped out of the
I'm
kitchen,
coming.
holding on so tight.
Where are you?
The
I've
clothes
got you.
around
Hold
him
on.
had caught small flames, but neighbors quickly poured water on it. Noso was coughing, but alive. People rushed to carry him. Oluwashola collapsed on the ground. Her skin was badly burned. Her face had marks from the fire. She was breathing heavily. Her mother fell beside her crying, "My daughter, why did you do that?" Oluwashola managed to whisper, "He is my son." When Uzo received the call at work, he could not believe it. "What do you mean? The house is burning." He shouted in the phone. He drove home faster than he ever had before. When he arrived, he saw smoke, people, and water everywhere. Part of the house was damaged. Then he saw his wife on a stretcher. Her skin was wrapped in clothes. Her face was swollen from burns. "Shola," he cried as he ran to her. She slowly opened her eyes. "Noso," she asked weakly. "He is alive," Uzo said quickly, holding her hands. "He is safe." Tears rolled down his face. "Why would you do that?" She looked at him softly. "I am his mother." He bent down and hugged her carefully, afraid to hurt her the more. "You could have died, but he didn't," she whispered. At the hospital, doctors worked on her for hours. She had serious burns. One doctor told Uzo, "But she is strong." Uzo did not leave the hospital. He stayed by her side day and night. He watched as nurses treated her wounds. He failed her when she was too weak to lift her hands. Noso visited her carefully, standing beside the bed. "I am sorry, Mommy," he said one day, tears in his small eyes. She smiled gently. "Despite the pain, you are alive. That is enough." Oluwashola stayed in the hospital for 6 months. 6 long months of treatment, pain, and healing. Uzo never complained. He held her hands through it all. People in the community spoke about her bravery. They could not believe what she had done. But for Oluwashola, it was simple. She was a mother. Years passed. The burnt house was repaired. Life slowly returned to normal. The scars on Oluwashola's body healed, but the marks on her face remained. They were deep and clear. Anyone who looked at her twice would notice them, but she never hid her face. Whenever people asked, she would simply say, "I saved my son." Noso grew into a tall, handsome young man. He was smart in school and very confident. With the influence and support of his father, Uzo, he lacked nothing. Even as a university student, he drove a good car and dressed well. People respected him. "Noso, you are lucky," his friend would say. He would smile proudly. "My father worked hard." At home, Oluwashola still looked at him with the same love she had when he was 5 years old. "Have you eaten?" she would ask. "Yes, Mom," he would reply quickly, sometimes already walking away. As Noso grew older, something changed in him. He started noticing how people looked at his mother's face in public. He saw the whispers. He heard the quiet comments. One evening, he said to his father, "Dad, why didn't Mommy fix her face?" Uzo looked at him carefully. Fix her face? Yes, the scars. We have money. Uzo's voice became serious. Those scars are the reason you are alive. Nonso looked away. I know, but still. Uzo did not say anything more, but he felt something was wrong. Oluwashola noticed the distance. When Nonso had friends around, he hardly called her mommy loudly. He introduced his father proudly, but his mother quietly stayed inside. One afternoon, in a busy junction not far from their areas, in Ekiti State, Nonso stood with his friends. They were laughing and talking beside his car. Oluwashola was passing by after visiting a nearby shop. She saw him from a distance. Her face lighted up with joy. "My son," she said to herself happily. She adjusted her scarf and walked towards them. "Nonso," she called gently. "Oh, Nonso, my son, you are here with your friends?" The boy turned to look at her. Nonso froze. For a second, he said nothing. His friends looked from him to the woman with visible scars on her face. "Nonso, this your mom?" one of them asked quietly. Oluwashola smiled warmly, unaware of what was about to happen. "Yes, I just came from..." Before she could finish, Nonso stepped back. "Hey, woman," he said sharply, "who are you?" The smile on her face faded slowly. "My son, what are you saying?" "I don't know you," Nonso said loudly. "Please, don't embarrass me." His friend looked confused. "Guy, is this not your mother?" Another friend asked. Nonso forced a laugh. "No, I have never seen her before." The words hit her harder than fire ever did. She stared at him, searching his face. "Nonso, it's me, your mother." "Please leave," he said bluntly. "You are mistaken." One of his friends whispered. "Nonso, calm down. This looked like your mom." Nonso became angry. "I said I don't know her." He turns to her. "Go away." The busy junction suddenly fell silent to her. Even though cars were passing and people were talking, her hands trembled. She remembered running into fire. She remembered 6 months in the hospital. She remembered holding him when he cried as a child. And now he stood in front of her like she was nothing. Tears filled her eyes, but she refused to cry there. "I am sorry," she said quietly. "I must have made a mistake." She turned and walked away slowly. Behind her, his friends looked at him differently. "Bro, that woman was calling you her son." Nonso avoided their eyes. "I said I don't know her." But his voice was no longer strong. At home that evening, Oluwashola entered her room quietly. She sat on the edge of her bed and touched the scars on her face. For the first time, they felt heavy, not because they were ugly, but because the son she saved was ashamed of them. When Uzo came home, he found her sitting quietly. "What happened?" he asked. She forced a small smile. "Nothing." But later that night, when she was alone, tears rolled down her face, not because of the scars, but because her own son had denied her. After that day, at the junction, Nonso did not change. He continued to avoid his mother in public. If they attended events together, he walked far ahead of her. When people asked, he introduced only his father. At home, Oluwashola remained quiet. She still cooked his favorite meals. She still asked if he had eaten. "Nonso, your food is on the table," she would say softly. "I'm not hungry," he would reply, without looking at her. One evening, Uzo returned from work and met a tense atmosphere in the house. A close family friend had called him earlier. "Uzo," the man had said on the phone, "I saw your wife today. She was crying. People are talking about how your son denied her again." Uzo's heart burned with anger. That night, he called Nonso into the sitting room. "Sit down," he said firmly. Nonso sat, looking relaxed. "What is it, Dad?" Uzo stood in front of him. Is it true that you denied your mother again? Nonso looked away. Dad, it's not that serious. Answer me. Uzo shouted. Yes, Nonso said finally. I did. There was silence. Why? Uzo asked, his voice shaking. Nonso hesitated. Dad, people laugh. They stare at her face. It's embarrassing. The sound of a slap filled the room. Nonso held his cheek in shock. Dad, embarrassing. Uzo's eyes were red with anger. Those scars you are ashamed of are the reason you are alive. Oluwashola rushed in. Uzo, please. But he raised his hand gently to stop her. You think you are handsome because of yourself? Uzo continued. You think you are rich because of yourself? Your mother carried you for 9 months. She ran into fire for you. She stayed in the hospital for 6 months because of you. Nonso's face hardened. I did not ask her to do that. The words broke something inside the room. Oluwashola gasped softly. Nonso. Uzo stepped back as if someone has pushed him. You did not ask her. He repeated slowly. So, she should have left you there to die. Nonso kept quiet. Uzo pointed towards the door. From today, you are no longer my son. Uzo, Oluwashola cried. I mean it, Uzo said firmly. A child who cannot honor his mother does not deserve his home. Nonso stood up angrily. Fine, if that is what you want, I will leave. Leave, Uzo said, and do not return until you understand the value of the woman you are ashamed of. Oluwashola fell to her knees. Please, both of you, stop this. But pride had already taken over. That night, Nonso packed his bag. As he walked past his mother, she held his arm. My son, don't go like this. He avoided her eyes. It's better this way. Tears streamed down her face. No matter what, you are still my child. He said nothing and walked out. After he left, the house became quiet again. Too quiet. Oluwashola cried day and night. Bring him back. She begged her husband. He must learn. Uzo replied, though his own heart was heavy. Months passed, then years. 3 years went by without a call, without a visit, without any news from Nonso. Every birthday of his, Oluwashola will sit on the bed and pray for him. Wherever you are, my son, may you be safe, she would whisper. Uzo pretended to be strong, but something at night, he stood by the window in silence. One evening, far away from home, Nonso sat alone in his apartment. Life had not been easy. Friends had come and gone. Money was not as steady as before. He began to remember his mother's voice, her smile, even her scars. He covered his face with his hands. What have I done? He muttered. The next morning, he made a decision. I'm going home, he said to himself. I will beg them. He entered his car and began the journey back to Ekiti State. As he drove, memories flooded his mind. His mother feeding him as a child, his father teaching him how to ride a bicycle, the hospital smell, the fire. Tears filled his vision. I'm sorry, Mom, he whispered. I'm sorry, Dad. The road was busy. Cars moved fast. Suddenly, a truck from the opposite lane lost control. There was a loud horn. Nonso looked up. Everything happened in seconds. A sharp turn, scratching tires, then a heavy crush. His car spun off the road. People began to gather around the wreckage. Smoke rose into the fire, and far away at home, his mother suddenly felt uneasy, placing her hands on her chest without knowing why. The accident was serious. People rushed towards the damaged car. The front was crushed. The glass was broken. Nonso was unconscious, covered in blood and dust. Call an ambulance, someone shouted. Within minutes, he was taken to the nearest hospital. The doctor walked quickly. He has multiple injuries. One doctor said, broken legs, deep cuts, internal bruises. They searched his phone and found his emergency contact. Uzo's phone rang that evening. Hello, are you Mr. Uzo? Yes, who is this? Your son has been involved in an accident. The phone almost slipped from his hand. What hospital? He asked quickly. Oluwashola saw his face turn pale. What is it? What happened? Is not so? He said quietly. Before he could finish, she had already grabbed her scarf. Let's go. At the hospital, they saw him lying on the bed, machine connected to his body. His leg was placed up in a cast. His face had bruises and fresh scars. Oluwashola covered her mouth and began to cry. My son. Uzo stood still for a moment, trying to be strong, but when he saw the condition of his only child, tears filled his eyes. He is alive, the doctor said, but recovery would take time, at least a year for full healing. A year? Oluwashola did not hesitate. We are not going anywhere, she said. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. Nonso regained consciousness after some days. When he opened his eyes, the first face he saw was his mother. She was sitting beside his face, holding his hand gently. Mom, he whispered quickly. She leaned closer. I am here. He tried to speak, but tears came instead. His father stood on the other side. You are strong, Uzo said softly. You will recover. Nonso looked at both of them and felt something heavy inside his chest. They had every reason to leave him, but they did not. For months, his leg remained up. He could not walk. He could not move freely. Nurses helped him turn. His mother failed him. His father handled the bills without complaint. One afternoon, while his mother was adjusting his pillow, he stared at the scars on her face. They were still there, clear as always, but for the first time in his life, he did not see shame. He saw sacrifice. Mom, he said quietly. Yes, I am sorry. She paused. Sorry for what? For everything. For denying you, for hurting you, for being ashamed of you. Tears rolled down his cheeks. I am proud and foolish. You saved my life, and I repaid you with pain. Oluwashola's eyes filled with tears, but she smiled gently. My son, she said, a mother's heart does not keep record of wrong. He shook his head. But I do. I remember what I said. I said I did not ask you to save me. Her hands trembled slightly, but she held his face carefully. You were young and careless, she said. Life has taught you now. He cried openly. Please forgive me. I don't deserve you. Uzo stepped closer. You hurt us deeply, he said honestly, but you are still our son. Nonso looked at his father. Dad, I am sorry. I understand now. When I saw my own scars after this accident, I felt ashamed. Then I remembered how I treated Mom. He touched the side of his face where a fresh scar had formed. I used to think scars were ugly, but now I know they tell a story. The room was silent except for quiet sobs. I forgive you, Oluwashola said firmly, from my heart. And I forgive you too, Uzo added. But never forget this lesson. Nonso nodded. I won't. Recovery was slow. He stayed in the hospital for 1 full year. There were days of pain, days of frustration, days he wanted to give up. But each time, his parents were there. Try again, his mother would encourage when he began physiotherapy. You can stand, his father would say. After many months, he finally stood on his face with support. It was painful, but he did it. When he was finally discharged, the doctor smiled. You are lucky, one of them said. Nonso replied quietly. I know. Before going home, Nonso insisted on something. Mom, he said, I want us to see a specialist together. She looked at him. For what? For your scars. If you want treatment, we will do it, not because I am ashamed, but because you deserve care too. She looked at her husband. He nodded gently. They went for surgery together. It was not about removing her past, it was about healing fully, inside and outside. During the process, Nonso never left her side, just as she had stayed by his own hospital bed. One evening, as they sat together at home again in Ekiti State, Nonso held his mother's hand. "I am proud to be your son," he said. She smiled softly, "and I am proud of the man you are becoming." Uzo looked at both of them and felt peace returns to his home. The house that once knew fire, tears, and separation was now filled with understanding. And this time, the scars on both mother and son were no longer marks of shame, they were marks of love. Peace was restored. Thank you for watching this story. Hi besties, what moral lesson did you learn from this story? Kindly share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Like this story, share this story to someone who might be interested, and subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not done so by now. Until I bring another interesting story your way. Bye.